What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to Shae Chronicles. I'm your host, Denise. It is, what is today? Thursday, July 7th, I believe. And today we are discussing a plethora of things, but really the topic of discussion is going to definitely be accountability. I want to welcome you guys all for joining me today. If this is your first time just tuning in, checking me out, thank you so much for joining me. This is a podcast of my life, my journey, some of my trials, my tribulations, and that I'm simply just sharing with the world. Trying to, in hopes to really be an example of, the endurance and the perseverance that it is taking to really find success in my life. I want to thank everyone who constantly logs on every single week to just encourage me, root me on, even for those of y'all that just simply are being nosy. What is going on? Hey! And I really hope that, my story inspires you in some kind of way as opposed to entertaining you. I might be a little entertaining, but this is really my fucking life, okay? So I welcome you. If you are new, I do encourage you to go back and check out my blog. And some of my past podcast episodes. It will really help you kind of find a connection of who I am, where I've come from, the things that I've overcome, and how I am here today. Okay, so first of all, I want to say, you guys, I am almost, 3 weeks away from my 1-year anniversary of starting my blog. I'm truly grateful to just be in this space and say I've made it. What started off as a blog is now a podcast. And I've written a book out of it. I've gotten great feedback from that book. And now I'm looking to start writing my second book. And all of it, you guys, is truly all in alignment. If you guys been following me the last few podcasts, I really have been focusing on, getting through a plateau in my life where I was gaining so much momentum. Things were going good. I started a business. I wrote a book. My confidence was building. I had this endurance to keep going. And there were some distractions, a few things that had me plateau completely. And it left me kind of stuck. So I started this lifestyle journey of just trying to have a healthier lifestyle. Where that stemmed from is because, I focused a lot of my energy earlier this year in being more intentional. I would even say I starting this podcast. I wanted to be more intentional. In order to do that, I had to be willing to truly expose myself to the things that I was enduring. I needed to be able to tell that side of my story. And since I've shared most of that, now I'm sharing the parts of it like, okay, you guys, I've been able to, heal from a lot of things. But that was my past traumas. I still got some trauma that has come into my adult life that is new. That, at first you find them as just experiences that you've gone through, but you don't realize how much you hold on to them and how it continues to enable you. And I am really getting to a point where I'm just like, no. We need to just continuously deal with shit. If it's making me feel some kind of way, I have to learn how to deal with it and not hold on to it. We need to release, right? So starting this new lifestyle journey was really like, okay, Denise, you've been very intentional. You've been really focused on purpose and making sure that your impact is something that is worthy to really spread the word, right? I'm really big on whatever you put out into social media. I don't like to be reckless. I like to make sure that, I pray upon my words. Even before I get on to my podcast, I light a candle, I burn some sage or some Palo Santo because I want to make sure that I'm exuding an energy that is impactful, that I'm not just on here just talking. And with that being said, I've put a lot of work into myself to be better, to continue to grow and inspire. And when I found myself recently stuck in these moments of distraction, it made me realize that there's going to be times where I'm going to constantly be distracted. And it's going to be how I deal with those distractions is really going to be the outcome of it all. And then I started asking myself, well, I'm always preparing myself. whether it's for a move, whether it's for a class, my website, my launch, a client. I'm always constantly trying to prepare myself so that as I continue to move into things, I'm ready for whatever is to come, right? And I know that can seem a little naive because some things are just can catch you off guard. You can't predict the future, right? But you can prepare yourself. And I found that, once I felt like I was moving intentionally, and once I started, creating boundaries, once I started actually using my voice to express myself and deal with my emotions, these are all things that I struggled with in the past. I felt like I had enough to continue to move forward and survive. But you'll hit a plateau. And this plateau really had me faced with some things that I thought I had worked on. I had only scratched the surface. One of the things in particular that I know for a fact that I've struggled with, and I don't think I really had taken the time to address this situation, was my abandonment issues. I have serious issues with feeling alone. And during my plateau process, and if you go back to my old podcast episodes, you will hear me talking about feeling lonely and really trying to talk myself through that. And now that I'm here today, I realized that, okay, this stems from a trauma. This definitely stems from something that I have not grown from, I have not fully healed from, and I need to understand how to identify this and really find a way to move forward. For me, I want to get to a point where whenever I come into a roadblock or whenever I come into something that's meant to be a distraction for me, I want to be able to shrug it off my shoulders. I want to be strong enough mentally, physically, and spiritually to get through that. And I noticed that, when I started to feel these feelings of abandonment or loneliness, or, it's just some moments where you just start feeling like you just are not enough, that I attach myself to certain things. Now, for some people, it may be a thing. It might be food. It might just be, alcohol, weed, whatever. For me, I found that it was several things, several things. One thing that I know for sure is I wasn't never a big drinker, but I attached myself to weed previously and I used it as a crutch. I used to tell myself, like, I need this because anxiety, and it really does help me. Granted, it did help me with my anxiety, but it's just a Band-Aid, right? I want to get to a point where if I'm feeling anxious, I'm able to talk myself through this. And I don't need anything else or attach myself to something to get me through this, right? And that got me to really saying, wow, Denise, okay, if you really are truly trying to overcome these obstacles in your life, are you really holding yourself accountable? No, I wasn't. And what I mean by that is holding yourself accountable is admitting that, okay, I'm utilizing this for all the wrong reasons. You know what I mean? They call weed a recreational drug or a medicinal drug, and it definitely was not medicinal for me, right? It wasn't subscribed. The doctor didn't say, hey, smoke some weed and you'll calm your ass down. It was recreational for me. At first, it was something that, okay, hey, we going out tonight, let's smoke a little weed. And then I almost became embarrassed about my usage of it. And my excuse became, well, I'm stressed out and I'm overwhelmed, so I use this to keep me calm. And that was more acceptable. And when I started to feel these emotions, I had to start holding myself accountable so I can truly deal with whatever it was that was triggering me and accept the fact that, okay, you can continue to hold on to this habit or not. Outside of weed, another habit that I struggled with was attaching myself to people, men in particular. I found it to be, when I think about a lot of times that I've been through difficult situations in my life, I was always in a relationship. This is my first time in my life that I'm not in a relationship. And I found myself just kind of grasping for straws because I felt like I needed that additional support. And honestly, normally when I'm in a relationship, because I honestly have issues with relationships as well that I'm still trying to work on, I found myself utilizing a relationship in a way to help me. Like, I'm using this as okay, well, maybe this person, I can lean on this person and they can help me through it. Which I'm not saying that we shouldn't look for support. I think it's important to have a great support system. But where I'm at in my life is I need to start learning how to trust myself and to depend on myself. And in order to do that, I have to be honest enough to hold myself accountable, right? And holding myself accountable is having these hard conversations with myself, admitting that, I utilize certain things for the wrong reasons. And since I decided to really expand this lifestyle change to no drinking, no smoking, really putting God first in my life and trusting Him, I had to tell myself, Denise, you can't get dependent on someone else's approval, right? I can't get dependent on, well, if someone just says the right things to me, that's enough. I have to be able to stand firm in, okay, Denise, let's be honest. Because when you really sit down and have a hard conversation with yourself, you know when you're doing shit for the wrong reasons. You know it. In the pit of your stomach, you know it. Because your discernment doesn't just kick in for the outside world. It kicks in for yourself too. And a lot of times I knew that I was creating a space of comfortability because I just wanted to be comforted, right? I did not allow myself the opportunity to say, I done fucked up, or maybe this ain't really the right way to go, or I made a mistake and let me fix it. It was, hell no, I'm about to get somebody on my side to cheer me on and in agreement so I can validate me acting in this manner. So, a part of the lifestyle change was not just, thinking more intentionally and making sure that I'm aligned spiritually. I really started taking it to another level with what I decide to feed my body. For the past few episodes, I constantly speak on, speaking life to yourself, staying positive, changing your narrative. But it goes deeper than that. If you're feeding your mind and you're feeding your spirit with your praise and worship, reading your Bible, praying, whatever it may be, manifesting, you also need to take it a step further and start thinking, well, what am I really feeding my body, like internally? And since I've started really paying attention to what I'm eating, how I'm eating, when I'm eating, I found a whole new reality of things that I didn't really work on. I didn't even think twice about. It wasn't even in the realm of my thoughts. But, since I've actually started taking the time, I don't eat any sugar. Well, let me say this. I don't eat candy like I used to. I don't eat chips, ice cream, soda. All of that has been removed from my diet. Why? Not because of a weight issue, not because of a health issue, because they were all crutch mechanisms. All of them were. And, with this new lifestyle change, I've had to be disciplined in really dealing with my emotions, right? That it's really twofold. So there's the discipline part where you get yourself in the manner of, I am no longer going to consume these things because they don't benefit me for my health. And then the second fold part of it is, well, why was I really crutching on to these things in the first place? We don't think about these things. We don't think that deep. We always think surface level. And a lot of these things are seriously internalized. And in my life, I'm really trying to take accountability for my actions, my words, how I present myself to the world, my impact on people, this podcast. Everything is relevant and means something, and that it all has to be intentional. So I had to face a lot of demons recently with my consumption of certain things. You know, the discipline part was not easy. It was not easy at all. You know, telling myself, like, honestly, I'll be honest with you guys. I think I shared this on my last podcast. I still have a whole ass container of chocolate covered raisins by my bed. I still to this day don't know why I have thrown them out. I don't know if it's because I paid over $10 for the jar. I don't know if it's because eventually, hey, I might say treat myself to a few chocolate covered raisins, or if it's a reminder. I'm not quite sure, but I have gotten into spaces a few times where I've opened that jar and smelled it and was like, ooh, I literally told myself, I've been so good. I've been eating good. You know, things are great. I can reward myself with this chocolate. And when I started to, you know, think about it, I was going through something on the back end. I was either having an issue in a relationship. I was stressed out about my work. And I was really trying to mask those feelings by telling myself, well, you've been disciplined. You've been doing a really good job. You know, you're looking great. Why not just reward yourself? You can reward yourself. That's fine. But also remember the reason behind it. Like, don't try to hide behind saying I need a reward, right? Just be sure that, you know, Denise, make sure that it's not just a reward, and these emotions that you're feeling, that you're not trying to cope. I have to be careful because food was very much a coping mechanism. Relationships, men, coping mechanism. And when you start to have that discipline and start saying, no, I'm gonna truly ride this out, then comes the accountability. I have to start saying, like, dang, you know, I really haven't dealt with this fully. You know, these things still trigger me. You know, I'm doing really well. I know that in certain situations when things trigger me, I used to never even speak on it. I would have an attitude about it and eat some candy. Or have an attitude about it and smoke some weed. Or have an attitude about it and say, girl, I'm having a day. Let's go have some drinks. Instead of really dealing with the issue, I would always put a Band-Aid on it. Right? So, in the lifestyle change, every morning I have to wake up. I wake up between 6:30 and 8, around that time frame. First thing I do is pray. I light some Palo Santo, and I instantly begin, I drink some water. I always drink water in the morning. Don't ask me why. I just drink water, and I start my workout. All right. The workout, I listen to gospel music during the workout because it allows me to zone in. During my workout, the most important thing for me is it's like a mental thing. Working out is not easy. Sometimes it comes easy for people, but for me personally, I mean, I like working out, but sometimes I can fall short. I'll say, okay, I'm going to work out for 30 minutes, and then I find myself really doing a half-ass workout. And when I ask myself, you know, why do I do these things? Why am I not fully holding myself accountable? Why am I not going hard? Why am I not committing this 30 minutes to really get the best workout that I possibly can? It's always because there's these thoughts going on in my mind, and I'm not working through them. It's always something that's holding me back. And so what I did, because I'm recognizing these things, is in my workout, I decided to take the time to feed myself encouraging words. Feed myself to say, you know what, Denise, push through. Finish the workout. You can do this. Do it for yourself. Put in the work because you're worthy of it. Put yourself first because you deserve to get through this. Cut out all the distractions and hone in. I really truly believe that God has given us all the gift to survive alone. I have to constantly say this because I'm not encouraging you or speaking that you don't need people. I think it's important, though, that you are aligned within yourself so you know how to deal with these things on your own. Now, I am a firm believer of counseling. I have gone to counseling several times. And if you have gone to counseling, you'll know the first thing they tell you is, I am here to guide you, but you have to do the work. Everything in life requires self-discipline, and it requires you to take action. And oftentimes in my past, I felt lonely and abandoned. It triggered me. Anytime I had to do something for myself, it triggered me because I just would have rather have the support. I would rather have a partner. I would rather have a crowd, be surrounded, as opposed to walking this journey, which technically we all are walking a journey on our own, alone, and really holding myself accountable to say, I can do this. I can speak this. I can build this. I can write this. I can do it, because in actuality, you are the person who has to take the action. I never knew I struggled with this. I've always felt very independent. I've always felt very like a strong Black woman. I can do everything and anything. And since I've been so inclined to really live an intentional life, you really got to peep yourself out. You really got to be able to call yourself out on some shit, okay? And I've just realized that, I was still masking things. And this time it wasn't from the world, right? I was masking it from myself. Have you ever asked yourself that? Am I lying to myself? Am I not being honest with myself? It's powerful. I also realized that since I've been holding myself accountable, it's ruffled some feathers, okay? A lot of people are feeling some type of way with my confidence. A lot of people are feeling some type of way with how I present myself. Now that I'm getting dressed, I'm walking in a room with my confidence. I am here. Okay, I'm going places by myself now. And some people feeling salty like, she acting brand new. No, I'm not acting brand new. I've evolved and I love myself. And now I'm trying to continuously build myself to be okay in my own presence. I used to have to surround myself. So please, I'm not acting different. You know what? I take that back. I am acting different. But for me, okay, I often feel like if it ruffles people's feathers, that's because there's some internal issues that they need to deal with on their own. It has nothing to do with me, and I don't take it personally at all. I've recently had conversations with my friends about, when they call me or something and they want to talk about it. Absolutely, I'm your support system. But I will not be that friend to be like, girl, they ain't shit. What? I'm not doing that. Because I found that people are going to shake and move however they're going to shake and move. But once you see that shake and move for who they are, you can either have a conversation with them, which I highly suggest. And it's a choice whether they're going to receive what you have to say or not. But then at that point, it's up to you to shake and move how you need to shake and move. I found so much strength in holding myself accountable. It's not easy. I have to tell myself like, oh, you got too dependent on relationships. Oh, you attach yourself when you feel lonely, instead of wrapping my arms around myself. Instead of saying, no, you're not lonely. Instead of trusting God and saying, well, God is here with me. I'm not alone. I'm not in this. He didn't give me all of this gift to feel alone. He gave me all of this gift to know that he was here for me. He's chosen me. I'm not, and you said you received it. So how are you feeling lonely? Those are the type of conversations that I have to constantly build and tell myself and be comfortable with it. I'm telling you, I would sit up here and convince myself that I wasn't wrong about something. The power of the tongue, okay? You can get caught up in your stubbornness, caught up in your insecurities, and literally cause trauma to someone else because you're not dealing with your own shit. It's been difficult. One of the biggest triggers that I've been dealing with recently is, I talk about this all the time, when I was a teenager, feeling like I had to dilute myself. Because other people saw my potential long before I saw it. And they were intimidated by it. And because I was very insecure and broken, I took what they were saying to me and I dwindled down, honey. I dimmed that light so low because I just wanted to vibe on wherever vibrancy the crowd was. But when I was alone, I was on a high ass frequency. But that was a secret. I couldn't tell anybody how great I saw myself or how beautiful I saw myself or, you know, how I saw so much more because that wasn't acceptable. And at that time, I was not comfortable being in my own space. Okay? And I often find when we start telling ourselves, like, I want more, I want to do this, oh, I wish my life was like that, I start to think about those conversations that I've had to myself. And I'm like, God, wow, this entire time I was able, I had all the tools I needed to get myself there. But I wasn't holding myself accountable. Oftentimes it's easier to just look outside and say, well, it's because of this, or it's because of her, or my parents didn't raise me to think like this. But you can change your own perspective, right? You can choose to walk away from a relationship at any moment. And although, you know, the spirit, the flesh can be battling at the same time with each other, the mind, right? The mind alone is always a battlefield. And that's why with this whole lifestyle change, I have to have all of it aligned. My mind, my spirit, and my flesh. It has to be aligned. And I have to be able to hold myself accountable when one of them is fluctuating. Right? I have control. I am the captain of this ship. And I am learning every day that it really truly does take me to put in this work to create the environment I'm trying to live in, to create the lifestyle I'm trying to have, to create the generation that I'm trying to pass down, that legacy. All of that starts with change and movement and accountability. Okay? And I just thank God that I'm in this space. I really do. I thank God for telling me, I know that you may feel lonely, but you are not alone. I thank God for telling me, like, slow down. I already told you I'm going to give you everything that you asked for in your life. I promised you that. And that includes a partner in life. So stop trying to sit up here and make a situation happen when I've already promised you that. Amen. You know what I mean? Like, so many times, you know, we want to take control of something, but discernment always kicks in. You always know when something is not right. It's us who chooses to still either waver that way and go through the storm because we have to talk ourselves through it saying, well, our relationships have issues, or this is happening, instead of trusting our initial gut and believing and trusting ourselves enough that, you know, maybe this isn't for me, or maybe I went about this the wrong way. I'm truly learning that I have to be okay in my own space. I have to be okay with my decisions, and I have to trust myself and trust that God is going to provide for me and God is going to show me the way, right? I can no longer run from things. I can no longer try to fit myself in situations that I'm not meant to fit in. I have to accept the life that God has given me and really go out and create it, okay? And it really does start with putting in the work. I can no longer blame people for my situation. I can no longer look for people to coddle me. You know, I have to be able to say, okay, all right. I was able to vent to my girls. I appreciate them. I love them. But now let me do the work. Let me put in the work to make the change and be the viable solution to what I'm asking and to what I want, to what I see for myself. I truly want to encourage you to take the time and give yourself a chance. Don't look anywhere else. Write it down. Tell your deepest, darkest secret. Put it on paper and reread it every day. Look at it in different aspects and ask yourself, what could I have done differently? Okay? You know, did I know from the beginning Because let me tell you, there has been so many situations in my life where I already knew better, but because I wanted to convince myself that this is where it was supposed to be. And it was just pretty much enabling that, like just holding on to the outcome, just prolonging it. Prolonging it. This is why God gave us discernment. This is why God gave us the power of just, we have the power. You have it inside of you to have everything you desire. Okay? Everything you desire. But you got to be able to believe in yourself enough to be the captain of your ship. Believe in yourself. And know that when you might need to stand alone with shoulders back, chest up, and head held high. Okay? Because you believe in the vision. You trust yourself. You know that you're putting in the work. And you know that you are putting your best foot forward every single day that you wake up. Every day. And that accountability for me, waking up, drinking my water, praise and worship, workout, eat breakfast, work, write, maybe clean up the house a little bit, pray some more, get another workout in. That alone is building me up. Building me up. So when I hit that plateau and another distraction comes my way, I'm building myself up to where I trust myself enough to say, nah, I'm not doing that. Or yes, Lord, I receive it. It's truly up to you. It's truly up to me. And I accept that. And I have to accept that maybe I've made some bad decisions in my life. You know, some decisions that I knew better, but I convinced myself that it was the way to go because my flesh felt good about it. Okay? I had to align myself all the way around. And, you know, even this healthier eating, just realizing that, wow, God, it ain't even about just my body looking right and my skin looking good. It's about how I utilize these things to coddle me. Okay? How I utilize them to supplement the truth or supplement facing facts. I don't want to hide behind it anymore. I don't. I just want to be freed from it. I want to be able for God to release me into this world to be free and acceptable of who I am. And I know that where I'm going, it's going to be tough. I know people are going to try me. And I know God is telling me right now, this is your time where you're building it up. You're building up your armor. So when those distractions come, keep it moving. Hallelujah. Like that's just such a testimony for me, you guys, because you have no idea how I would have rather carried people on my back and crawled with them. And the little bit of progress that I was making, I was okay with that. Because as long as I was moving in some kind of way and I was holding people down and had them on my back, I was important. I was validated. I was somebody. I'm free, light as a feather, and I am still somebody. I am a person. I am Denise, who is getting through it, who is learning herself, who is loving herself and learning to trust her, me. I am capable. I am worthy, and I can do it. I don't know, y'all. I just feel great and amazing, and I encourage you guys to go out and hold yourself accountable. Hold yourself accountable. Stop lying to yourself. Be honest. Be your best friend. Okay? Be your own best friend. I love you guys. Stay tuned because next week I'm going to start doing midweek episodes. Probably not this long, obviously. I'm trying to get more in tune and be on the lookout for my second book release. I am working on it. It's all about accountability. It's going to be the second part of my first book, which is I Am Everything I Need. I Am Everything I Need is a kickstart. It's a quick reference tool to get you to start to get you to be inspired by from you. Get your inspiration from yourself. Find the courage within yourself. And once you find that, the second step is accountability. Stay tuned, y'all. Peace.